Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now it's quite humid outside today. It was raining about 10 minutes ago, but now it's stopped and it's, yeah, quite humid. Now, enough talking about the weather. I keep saying it. I know I start a lot of videos like this, but yeah, it's such a British thing to start any conversation whilst talking about the weather. But we're not here today to look at that. We are here today to look at the TST CP15 from Varusteleka. Now, I got in touch with Varusteleka, how long is it now? Probably had this bag for about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, testing this out. I've done lots of walks like this, and I thought so this was my carry-on luggage bag when I went away last month, and it works really well for either or. I think as a crossover bag, it's great for both. But what I thought I'd do at this front bit is just give you a little bit more information about Varusteleka. So some of you possibly have heard of them. They are one of Finland's largest, if not Finland's largest, outdoors military website, with lots of different things on there. You should definitely check out the website, and obviously I'll leave the links and descriptions here. But the Sarmä, I might have missed that off the beginning of this, but this is the Sarmä TST CP15. So Sarmä are Varusteleka's own brand. Do you know what? Something just clicked, and I can't believe I've only just thought about this. So that I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, I'm sure there is an indigenous tribe in Finland towards the north in the Arctic Circle called the Sarmä tribe. I never thought, I'd never even put two and two together, but so Sarmä are Varusteleka's own brand. They do different outdoor clothing, they do backpacks like this, but to add some extra clout to this backpack, because sometimes you think, oh well, you know, own brand stuff, is it any good? Now, if you've not heard of Sarmä and you've not heard of Varusteleka, I guarantee you've heard of Sarma, who are another Finnish brand that are god tier level when it comes to outdoor backpacks. They're, I forget how it's pronounced, Jakari backpacks are absolutely world renowned for being incredibly tough. Now Varusteleka, with their Sarmä packs, the TST CP15 and the lower one as well, there is also an assault pack version as well. So this is a collaboration between Varusteleka and their Sarmä brand and Sarma, who make these for them. So what you're getting really is a Sarma pack that is designed by Varusteleka with their Sarmä branding. Well, actually, there's no branding on this, but under their Sarmä name. So just in itself, that adds a lot of weight, not strictly speaking, but that adds a lot of weight, especially for me. You know, I love my backpacks, and Sarma is one of those brands that I've always wanted to try, and testing this out, I'm going to pick myself up a Sarma, one of the Jakaris, which I believe is the same word as Jaeger, which is the same word as Hunter. But anyway, I'm going to pick one of those up to bring you some content on those. But that's not what we're here today about. We're here today about the Sarmä TST CP15. Now, they were good enough to send this to me, so this has been provided to me free of charge. But we're talking to them, and so the emails that came to me are from the Varusteleka propaganda team, which, yeah, I love. So we had quite a bit of chat, quite a bit of banter, and they want the warts and all. They want my honest opinion, which is what I'll give today. I also have to say, so found out that that Finland and their neighbours Sweden, they absolutely love Sweden as well. They are massive fans of Sweden and the Swedish people. In fact, when they sent this to me, they also sent me some Swedish camo underwear, which, yeah, I'm wearing today. So definitely check out the Swedish camo underwear on the Varusteleka website as well, so you can see how nice it is. But okay, I've rambled quite a bit. This is probably one of the longest intros that I've done. So let's have a closer look, it's a bit of a mouthful, at the Särmä TST CP15. While I'm doing that, if you want to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, that would be amazing. Thank you if you did do that. Let's take a closer look. Now, as we usually do, we'll go through some measurements, we'll go through some materials, and then we'll have a look around the pack itself. Measurements wise, it comes in at 440mm by 240mm by 150mm deep. You may have guessed from the name, the Sarma TST CP15. This is a 15 litre pack. Now, some of you at this point might be thinking 15 litres, really that's not enough for me. But I think really it's understanding exactly what this pack is for, day walks, that sort of thing. But also it's actually deceptively large. Now, I've packed a few things in here today which probably won't make sense when you look at the two of them that I've combined together, but really it was just, I'd been using this through the week. I've had my laptop in here. Now, I carry a 16-inch laptop. This isn't designed to carry a laptop. There's no sleeve within it, but I can still fit my 16-inch laptop in the back of here, which is great. So I've got my work carry kind of EDC with me in here as well. But because this is designed as well to be an outdoor backpack, I've put some outdoor equipment in here as well, which it really doesn't make sense with everything else that's in here, but it's just really to give you an idea of what exactly you can fit in here. And yeah, the strange kind of, although yes, this is only a 15 litre pack, you can fit a lot more than I kind of guessed that I could do with 15 litres. As far as the materials are concerned, the whole bag is constructed from 1000D Cordura, and it is really tough. I know if you've seen some of my GoRuck packs, so on the content when I've done those, this feels like the GoRuck 1000D. Now, I know what 1000D feels like, and this feels more than 1000D. It's kind of strange, but it's incredibly tough. And yeah, it's available in 3 colours. There is the black version that we have here. There is also a green version, which is more like a Ranger green than an OD green, which, you know, I quite like that. And then there is a camo version, which is the Finnish M05 camo, which again is really nice. Now, with the straps that you get with each of those, if you get the black, you get black straps. If you have the green, you'll get green straps. If you get the M05 pack, then you'll get green straps with that. The other materials on here, we have this webbing. Now, I don't usually spend a lot of time talking about webbing because webbing's webbing at the end of the day, but this webbing is different. If you've ever seen the Sarma packs, this webbing is the same as the webbing from the Sarma packs. It's just, I don't know if it's stitched, if the weave of the stitch is different. It's almost got 2 colours in there, so predominantly it's black, but then there's a lighter grey in there as well. It just feels different. It's almost a cross between the kind of the MILSPEC webbing that you get on a lot of packs and the seatbelt webbing that's nicer and smoother. It's almost a cross between the two, having, you know, sharing similarities between them. But yeah, I mean, it's all the way through the sides and the top on the grab handle here as well. Now, as far as the Cordura is concerned, this is also NIR compliant. If you're new to NRI compliancy and all that sort of stuff, so really what that's about is infrared. So this gives off the same light radiation as natural things. I just touched that, but you can't see that, that's slightly off camera. So all leaves and grass and all of that sort of stuff give off a certain amount of radiation when infrared is shone onto them. So this ensures that if you are using this, if you're in the military, you won't be seen as far as it won't glow up in the dark because of the light that bounces back off it. On the inside as well, there is a really thick coating, very similar to the Sarma packs, on here as well, to make sure that this stays nice and dry. Okay, now round the pack. So starting on the front here, I've added this bungee system here on myself, mainly because it came out today, and yeah, so while I was walking around it started to rain, so I thought I'll bring out a jacket. This isn't included with this, but it works really well in there. I just took this off another packs. But across the front you have all of this PALS webbing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So as far as modularity is concerned, you can fit an awful lot on here. Moving then up to the front, you have a hook and loop panel for morale patches, and it's a lot larger. Normally these are, what is it, it's something like 6 centimeters by 3 centimeters. This is a full 10 centimeters by 20 centimeters across, so you can fit a lot on here if you want to, if you want to do that. On the sides, I'm just going to pull those out there because I did do it on the opposite side as well. On the sides we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows with 3 columns of PALS on the sides as well. So again, if you want to add some more molle equipment to the sides of these, then you can do. There are no pouches on here. You couldn't put an axe through here or a water bottle on the side, but I think the main idea for these Sarma TST packs, it's all about that kind of essential, put in what you need, but if you want to add to that, we'll give you all of the modularity that you need through the front and through the sides with additional PALS webbing so that you can attach molle onto there if you choose to. The left hand side is exactly the same. Just as an extra point, so the stitching on here is great. Rather than just having this so that it loops into the side of the stitch, what they've done is they've looped it into the side of the stitch and then passed it back through, stitched that, and then done an over stitch across the top as well, just to make sure that you're getting as much protection and as much strength on the sides. And this goes all the way down here as well, which is a nice little touch. I think they're aware that sometimes, especially these stitches across here, that they can be weak points, but you know, they've certainly made sure that there's no issues there. Same applies here down the sides as well. Now you can use these, and these are what these what the compression straps use. So instead of going for buckles on the side, and I actually quite like the way that they've done this, so instead you have your webbing, if I just pull that out for a second, so you have your webbing and then there is a G-hook on the end, so your G-hook goes into your PALS webbing here on the front, and then you cinch that down to be able to compress your pack. It just makes it a lot simpler, and also if you're out and about and one of those clasps goes on you, there's not really much you can do, whereas these metal steel G-hooks, you know, I don't think I've ever had one of these fail. They're just that tough. But compression straps wise, you have one at the top, one here at the bottom, and then all I've done is just fed the additional webbing here through these PALS webbing loops, and that helps to keep them there on the side. On the bottom, oh, got it caught on a tree. So on the bottom here we have additional PALS webbing, so that if you want to add additional things here to the bottom, you certainly can do. It's something that is certainly lacking on a lot of packs, and I wish more companies would put PALS webbing on here, or even just lashing points, so that you can add additional things on there. So yeah, this is certainly a good thing in my books. Now across the top you have this really large generous grab handle. Now I have a medium to large size hand, and even just putting my span, my whole span will fit through there with ease. It looks to be 2 inch, that's probably 50mm webbing, box stitched on both sides, and then we've got it so that it's pinched and then stitched through there so that you can get a good generous hold whichever way that you're going on. And then either side of that we have 2 flaps that lift up with hook and loop underneath there, and then this is where, if you're going to have a bladder system on the inside, then you can have that to come out whether you're a lefty or a righty, and it then go over your shoulders. Now as far as the inside's concerned, as I mentioned, this really does feel larger than it should do for 15 litres. So you can get in at the top, with these two large YKK zippers, and they also have some paracord pulls on there. If you want to keep the compression straps on there, it's a great way to make sure that it doesn't completely open if you just want to get what's in the top. But if you want to get all the way in, you just need to make sure that all of your compression straps are off and it zips all the way down into the corners. For the guys out there that love a full clamshell, you can get a full clamshell opening with this. So if I just make sure, let's get this right. So in here, in the main compartment now, I mentioned there's a bit of a mishmash of things in here, but I just wanted to show you exactly what you can fit. So I've got a 1 litre Nalgene bottle. I've got all of my camera equipment that I bring out with me every single weekend. I am out here doing some extra filming today, so yeah, you know, we've got a flashlight in there too. We also have my large tech pouch as well. I mentioned, you know, I have been taking this to work with me. I have some fire starting stuff. I have my water jerry can if I wanted to make myself a drink out here, and then I also have my smaller tech pouch as well. All of that within this 15 litre pack. I think it really did surprise me, considering certain packs that I've tested that have said, you know, we're a 20 litre pack. For the amount that I can get in this, for single trips, for day trips, going to the beach, just even commuting into work, it's been perfect. I have been able to fit my 16-inch laptop in here. Hopefully you'll be able to see that there is no laptop or dedicated laptop compartment in here though. It's not particularly designed for that. It would have been cool, but again, I don't think it's necessarily needed. Now, if I could change anything, so actually, let's carry on. So at the top here, you have some fixing points. So if you wanted to run your bladder system through here, you can certainly do that. And then on the inside, here is the inside so that you can then run your hose out there if you want to. Across this back panel, there is hook and loop all the way across this back panel, so if you wanted to add additional modularity in here, then you can add all of your hook and loop things to the back. Now, one of the things that I was going to say is if there was anything that I could change, it would maybe be to have some additional fixings. Similarly to what we have here, it is to have some additional fixings down the side. I think that would really add to this, because then what you could do is you could also run a super minimalist bungee system on the inside. So if you wanted to put something against this back, then you could do, and it would help that to not move. I think what they could also do is, if they wanted to, is you could also then have a system with your G-hooks on here as well, so that if they wanted to add additional things in the future, they could certainly add these in just by using this back seam. I think that would be a great idea. The other one, if possible, and again, you know, this is a small thing, so where you have this hook and loop here on the back, I know some companies like to use the laser cut hook and loop. If that was added here to the back as well, then that would add a little bit more modularity. But I think with those sort of things, the hook and loop on the back here would probably drive the price up a little bit, whereas just the extra little hoops like we have here on the side, they could still use this molle that's here on the back and be able to just lengthen that on the inside. I think that would certainly be a great thing. Also as well, on the bottom, now it's probably done for a reason, but on the bottom there's no grommet to allow water out if you did get water into here. Now with the coating on the inside, it would be quite difficult for water to get in, but if it was submerged, then it would just be another way to let that out. But other than that, like I say, this really does feel a lot larger than it should do for 15 litres. Now on the front, so here we have the front, which is the front panel that opens out. There is a smaller pocket here at the bottom, which, you know, I have been using this, and I've got my Uno cards. If you don't play Uno, then just what's wrong with you? Anyway, and then on the top section here, we also have another larger pocket. Now, I am out today doing some flashlight filming, so I brought out some flashlights and some tools with me. But all of this easily fits in here. and it will go, so it goes all the way down to this zip, and there is also an extra little bit of room here on the top. Now I mentioned this while we were looking around the outside, but just to make sure this really is nailed home, all of the stitching in here is, yeah, it's absolutely spot on, as you'd expect. It's all reinforced, all perfectly done, and even the reinforcing on this, I think the reinforcing on this is actually a lot stronger than I've seen on some other packs, but yeah, spot on. Now on the back side there's just an extra bit, so all I'm going to do is just pull the straps out of the way for the second, because here across the top, this whole top, which is roughly 9 inches, I know 9 inches because it's from there to there, so that's what she said. So across the top here, all the way down to the bottom, there is a sleeve. So at the moment, I've just put my Neil pad in there just in case I needed it today. But if you did want to add some additional padding to the back, you can certainly add that in there and then be able to take it out. The main feature for this back pocket is when this is open on the inside, this is actually pleated. I'll try and see if I can get a better shot of this, but this is pleated in here, which adds dimension back into the pack. So if you're out, you've got something wet, something that you want to keep separate from the rest of the things in here, rather than just coming out maybe so the inch that it would do if you were to put something in there, because you've took it out of this pack and moved it to the back, the volume that it had on the inside, you're then allowed to use on the outside, and it will push into there, it will push, the pleats will open, and you'll get that volume out on the way back in, which is actually coming really useful. At first, when I first saw this, I wasn't sure, but taking this on holiday with me, when I've got wet towels, even when I've come out like this on a day like today and it has rained and I've had something wet that I want to put in there, it's worked really well. So there's that extra feature on the back, and then at the bottom here you also have 2 pass-throughs where you can then pull out, where you can pull out a waist strap. Now the waist strap doesn't come off, it is sewn into there, but you could take the plastic hardware off here if you wanted to. I've been carrying it as it has been here, and it's certainly not pushed in, it's certainly not felt uncomfortable on my lower back whilst it's in there, and it's a great little way to be able to hide these on. Now the back panel itself is just this single layer of Cordura. As far as airflow, as far as anything else is concerned, unfortunately there's little to no airflow on here. If you're using this in a warm environment, you will probably find that this won't aid any sort of sweat kind of dissipating. But thinking about it, in Finland, generally most people will be wearing a jumper or a jacket underneath these. It's just something to consider if you're thinking of getting these and you live in a warm climate. Now, one of the things that have alluded to this entire time are the straps on the back. And some of you will have noticed that these are 2 completely different straps. The main reason for that is that these are available with 2 types of strap, depending on how minimalist or how kind of Spartan you want to be with what you carry. So by default, which I think is the default, you have these webbing straps. So it uses a piece of 50mm webbing and some 25mm webbing across the top. Webbing goes all the way down to the bottom where it pinches into 25mm, and then you have these really nice ITW Nexus buckles which then come down to the bottom. The fixtures for these are these D-rings, so these can completely come off with the straps here at the top. You then feed that back through and you can take that off. These are what I think Varusteleka refer to as the Finnish hardcore straps. You know, the type of straps that a manly man would want to wear. What they did was, from feedback that they'd had from their Finnish neighbours, sorry, from their Swedish neighbours, was these straps were just a little bit too hardcore for the more gentler Swedish shoulders. So what you can also get is, you can also get this padded version. So the padding on here is maybe say 3, maybe 4 millimeters thick. It uses the same cordura on both sides. There's no mesh on this side again, which I've not really found there's that much of a problem. And then you then have the 25mm webbing going all the way through. You have some additional straps here if you want to put your hydration hose through there, and even on this side as well there's also some loops in there, but these are a vertical daisy chain, whereas these are horizontal loops. So depending on how you want to carry, there are 2 versions of this. Now I certainly wouldn't recommend wearing them like I have today. It generally feels a bit weird, but you can either get them with this strap, or you can get them with this strap, or if you get the hardcore Finnish version and then realise that maybe you want to swap it up for the more gentler shouldered Swedish version, you can buy either of them so that you can then change it if you wanted to at a later date. Now, as far as how does it wear, well, as you could probably imagine, it wears like a 15-litre backpack should do. It's very comfortable, and with these straps, because you have those 2 D-rings at the top, it just means that there is a greater freedom of motion in the shoulders when you're climbing over things, when you're trying to climb under things, whatever you're trying to do with it. The backpack just moves with a little bit more fluidity across your shoulders while it's doing that. But when I say moves across your shoulders, I really am just meaning about the rotation within your shoulder cups. The actual, you know, the movement of the pack, it does stay perfectly on your back whilst you're out and about with this. Now, it's very, very easy to like the TST CP15 as a backpack, and I mean this in the best possible way. I think this is actually an excellent comparison. It reminds me a lot of the Tasmanian Tiger Essential Pack, which is another sub 20-litre backpack. It's about just thinking, what do I need? What do I need to take out with me? And I, like a lot of you out there, tend to go, well, I'll take that and I'll take that and I'll take that just in case. But like a lot of minimalist thinking when it comes to other things with EDC, really it's just about trying to pare back on what you do take with you, because a lot of the stuff that you take with you is always a nicety, well, just in case, and what if this happens, which 99.9% of the time doesn't. And we'll take out 15 items where we could probably take out 3 items that would cover all of the things if something did go wrong. But what 15 litres makes you do is makes you really kind of look at what you're taking with you. Now that's the kind of the idea about what you would carry in the pack, but the actual pack itself, 15 litres, incredibly tough. And then when I say incredibly tough, I'm talking like Go Ruck kind of tough. This pack is pretty indestructible, and that is the fact that with the heritage that it's got through Savota, I think Varusteleka and their Sarma gear, I think, is definitely something that you should look towards. And I think if you're after a 15-litre pack, you should definitely check out Varusteleka. I'll leave all of the links here so that you can see more from them. I would like to say thank you to the Varusteleka propaganda team for sending this out to me. The fact that you call yourself the propaganda team, I absolutely love that. Obviously, Kingdom and the Moorlands and the people of Finland have always had an amazing diplomatic relations, and yeah, just the fact that self-deprecation in Finland is great, which yeah, I certainly like that sense of humour. And hey, you know, I've learned so much about how much the Finnish and the Swedish people love each other as well, and have a similar sense of humour and yeah, that self-deprecation as well. So hello to everybody in Finland, and also hello to everybody in Sweden as well. I will leave all of my links below here too, so that you can see more from me. I tend to be on Instagram a little bit more than I tend to be anywhere else as well. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Oh, jeez, a lot of flies today. Now, if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you're just surrounded by flies, let's keep this on the down low. This was given to me by my father and his father before him and his father before him. This is the technique. All you need is a jacket, just like this. You get your jacket, fold it up at the top, around your neck, get a good hand hold. And this is the elegant part, okay? And they're all gone. That's how you do it. Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Well, they go for a few minutes. There you go. Just don't tell anyone. Super secret Moorlander technique. Bloody flies. Now, where was I?